I want to get the opportunity to try to address Zach opting out here during this time. I think right now the NCAA has done a really good thing in terms of the COVID opt out, and what that is exactly, it gives young men the opportunity to get their school paid for and finished during that year, retain the academic services, as well as the opportunity to step away from a team without any repercussions or anything. And my whole thing is, I think some across the country, like anything, I'm sure it's been taken advantage of. Probably has, maybe by one in our program in terms of just not wanting to finish what they started. But when a young man like Zach, opts out during the season, as the head coach, two emotions. You have about 2 weeks left in the season, 3 weeks. One of the emotions is of, okay, well, hang on, we only got a few weeks left. If your mind, body, and soul inside this, then it's really tough for someone to step away. And that's me just being completely transparent. For those of you who've been on a team, you'll understand that. But furthermore, what you'll really understand is if you really know the young man and you really live what he goes through each and every day and some of the obstacles that he's overcome, you have a little more empathy and you have a little more understanding and you have a little bit more perspective. And for me, our guys' mental health and well-being is most important, and as well as all our coaches and all our players. And the men in that locker room, I couldn't be more proud of for what they've accomplished this season, particularly with what we've been through. But I want to make sure I address that, and we're not going to take any more questions on it because I want to make sure that, it's understood that young man's gone through a lot and fully support his decision and feel like he's had tremendous growth within this program. And I'm really excited for whatever the future lies with him. We've had a 25-day layoff. And if you go back and find out all the teams that have come off that and look at their scores, okay? These young men in this locker room, like many others across the country, and unlike many others across the country, that haven't had layoffs. We come out and win 4 in a row, 3 of which have been on the road, or two of which have been on the road immediately. And guys are asked to do different things, put in different positions. Their toughness and resiliency is really shown during this period of time. And I couldn't be more excited about the core that we have competing. And I tell those guys every day when I walk in, guys, how we feel mentally, where we at physically, and this is what we have to get done this week. And the challenges only become greater for the University of Cincinnati basketball with the many games we got in the coming weeks. But I want to make sure I touched upon the toughness level because we didn't have that early on. We didn't show the Cincinnati tough that we talk about in our program. It's our second core value. They've showed that and more during the course of this last month, and I couldn't be more proud of a group.
Go with your questions, guys.
Coach, I know you said you didn't want to take any more questions on Zach, but do you have any expectation or insight on whether he might return in the future at any point?
Yeah, I made my statement, Justin.
Looking forward to Houston. Number 2 now in the league, but they've kind of set the pace up until last night in this league. How tough is it to get the team, right and on the same page with a week layoff to go down there and face what may be the best rebounding team in the country right now?
Well, you're walking. I tell our guys all the time, what are you walking into? Okay, so you're walking into a team that's known for their physicality. Each and every year they're at the top of the country in rebounding. They've got a veteran team they're the gold standard in terms of the culture right now that they've been able to get over the last 7 years or 8 years with Kelvin. And they just come off a loss. So you got to know what you're walking into. And, our young men understand that, and we're excited about getting down there. Certainly our thoughts and prayers go to the with Houston. I know it's been hit really hard in terms of the weather and the loss of water and power. And I know that there's a part of that our guys are asking about. And we certainly have thought about that going down. But this is what you want. You want to go down there and play. I think it's the best team in the league, certainly a top 10 team in the country, and they have been all season.
Have there been any conversations with the conference about the situation down there and moving forward with the game?
The game's going to happen on Sunday. They asked us to call the hotel to find out if they had running water and power. Our hotel does. So we'll head down there tomorrow afternoon and play on Sunday.
just another in the line of unbelievable things this season that you have to call a hotel and check to see if they have water and
Power. Yeah, you do. It's this is we always talk to our guys about not playing victim role, and we're not going to do that. And I talked to my daughters about that. They're 14 years old, and we're just we're not. I mean, we're going to go down there, we're going to compete, and I like the spirit of this team, and we're only going to get better.
How did you feel about having the whole week off? Did you wish you could have had some games? I know it was out of your control, or did you like having maybe a whole week to prepare?
Yeah. I don't know how much the preparation will take place now, but the preparation for what we need it was important because now that we have the group, that we really, feel as though they understand what it means to play hard, what it means to play connected, what it means to play hard defense. We now can start to try to execute a little bit more, and so that's what we've worked on. One of the things that's been tough, Justin, during the course of these 4 games is guys in different positions with no practice time. I'm calling out plays and like, Coach, I'm at the 2 right now. Normally I'm at the 4, or I'm at the 4 right now. I'm normally at the 2. And I'm like, it's easy for the coach to know the plays because you draw them up or they're in your head. But it's harder for the player. So now we've been able to try to say, okay, it's hard to give every scenario, but now we're getting more of the scenarios where it's like, okay, Keith, I need you to know this when you're at the 4. Tara, I need, and different things like that. So that's why I enjoyed the practice this week more than anything.
Do you have any insight on if any of those postponed games are going to get rescheduled? Have you heard anything on that?
I just don't see where the room would be. So we play Sunday at Houston, Wednesday at Tulsa, Friday home Tulane, Sunday home Memphis. I mean, I'm sorry about our guys. They've got to. No, I just don't see any more room.
how much of an effort was there to try to get a game in this week, or was it just not possible?
Yeah, as I said before, whatever the conference told us to do, we were going to do. So I don't think it was a situation where the games, if you looked at the schedule, the games that need to be made up, I think those teams were either on COVID pauses or they had games. But we were certainly prepared to do whatever they told us to do.
John, Mike has shot the ball well of late. Just to kind of talk about his play and how he's done in these last few games.
I think he's playing with a tremendous amount of confidence, Keith. I think he understands that what he brings to this team is a tremendous amount of toughness defensively and an understanding of our defensive system. And with that comes a comfort level that, hey, I know what I need to do when I'm on the court. And then, recognition of how much attention David's getting. I think he's getting him some good looks, and I think Mike is doing a great job not only knocking him down. He's always been a good assist to turnover guy. I think he's just playing with a lot of confidence. And Micah loves the game of basketball. He loves University of Cincinnati, and he loves to compete. And he's a sophomore for us who's just gets better every time he's out there. And I think sometimes he may get overlooked a little bit in terms of the media and whatnot, but he's a winner. And there's a reason, from he started as many games as he has, and he played right now. He's coming off the bench, which I like even more for him right now. He's playing starter minutes. So the guy's averaging almost 30 minutes a game.
What went into that decision to take him to the bench? Is just more firepower off the bench, or what went into that?
Well, that was during the COVID part where I didn't have a full roster, so I was had to kind of mix and match a little bit, Keith. So, and then I think there's been some punch to that. I think he's cerebral, so I think he sees the game for what it is before he goes in, and things change daily in terms of that. We're not afraid to at this with everything that's going on with COVID and your rosters changing and things like that. You got to be willing to be a little bit more. If you know my past, I don't change starting lineups a lot. I'm sure we'll have even more changes as we go forward, just as we evaluate things.
Because of all the circumstances, is it hard to enjoy a 4-game winning streak the way you normally would in a normal season?
Well, you know what, that's a great question. I've enjoyed it with the guys. I mean, obviously we had to deal with the situation this week, but which you guys make more of than we do inside the program in terms of we understand what's going on, what we're doing, and the direction we're heading in. So, no, I've enjoyed the fact that we're playing better and we're more connected, and got a chance to. It was a little bit different evaluating our team over the last 4 games versus Christmas time when I was evaluating our team over the last 4 games, and there were 4 straight losses. So it's been a little bit more enjoyable watching that tape.
Hey, Chris, what has it been over these past couple games that's allowed you to get back on track? Is it a confidence thing, or And did the time off kind of give you a chance to regroup and get your game going again?
I think the time off was kind of a blessing in disguise, just for everybody. It was, I guess, a good little time for everyone to get kind of rested and regrouped, and me especially. I kind of tweaked my shoulder a few times and re-injured it, so that was good to be able to give me a little time to rest that shoulder up and be able to recover it.
Seems like you're moving a little bit more with a little more aggression on defense, blocking shots, protecting the rim. Was that something that you and coach went over during the break, or is it just getting that shoulder back to where it needs to be?
I'd say it's a little bit of both. They kind of play hand in hand, but I think getting that time off really kind of helped guys get their legs back and kind of get refocused. But that was one of our main emphases of over the break, is just locking in on half-court defense and becoming a better half-court defensive team, and rim protection was definitely a part of that.
Ask coach about this, but has it been difficult to enjoy the 4-game winning streak with, the differences this season with the pandemic and maybe having some players leave the roster? How has it felt different than it might have in years past?
Just this year in general. I mean, everything's been different about this year, but we certainly enjoyed the 4-game win streak to its full extent, because, I mean, looking through the other teams that have gone through quarantines and shutdowns in the middle of the season, I think we're one of the only ones to go through a 4-game winning streak coming out of a lockdown. So it's not a light accomplishment. So we just got to keep on moving from there.
How have you personally handled this season, mentally, physically, just in any way?
I mean, mentally it's different for everybody, but me personally, it's just, I guess, different. Just going out there, it's still weird sometimes running out of the tunnel and there's no fans out there, and just overall there's not the same energy in the crowd as what you're used to as a basketball player from when you played from Little League all the way up to now. Like, there's just, I can't remember a time I've never seen hardly anybody in the fans or in the stands, but just something I guess we've just gotten used to as the season's gone on and gotten a little easier to adjust to.
Chris, just observing, it looks like you're playing with a lot more confidence and aggression of late. Is that true? I mean, is that what's happening here? Are you having a lot more, I don't know, is it having more fun or just being more confident out there?
I'd say, yeah, that's definitely a part of it. That over the break, we just all kind of gotten more connected as a group, and we're playing more as a team and as a unit, and we're just playing for each other now. So it's always more fun playing like that.
You faced this Houston team twice last year, obviously some different personnel, but what did you learn from those games in terms of the way they like to play?
I'd say they're easily one of the most physical teams in the league. I think that's no secret, but they're just a really hard-playing physical team, and we just got to be able to match their aggression and prepare for it.
What can you do different in preparation and practice, for a team like that? Or what do you do different than you might for any other program?
I mean, we do a lot of just, as it is, we do a lot of aggressive and toughness drills, so I imagine we'll do more of those, prepare for a team like Houston who's tough and physical as they are, but they have a lot of skilled players as well. So, I mean, we're going to have to really lock into the scouting report and what those guys do well and how to defend them.
Is there anything you do mentally to get ready for a team that is going to come in and try to attack the glass as hard as they do and be as physical as they are?
Yeah, anytime I'm heading into a game with just really physical players or a physical team, me personally, I just like to attack with the mindset of not expecting any foul calls or not looking to the ref any or complaining for any fouls, just going out there and just basically backyard basketball and just playing, and then if the refs do call a foul, then that's just a cherry on top, but don't expect any foul calls, don't complain if they play physical, just try to match their intensity.
Chris, you and Keith, senior leaders of this team, what has been your role in that this season? And not just on the court, but just keeping guys' heads where they need to be during all of this?
I mean, my biggest strategy, I guess, just trying to make sure all the younger guys are getting through this too, because I mean, being a freshman is usually the hardest year for any college basketball player, and then add the whole pandemic on top of that, and I just would imagine makes it 10 times harder. So I just try to talk them through it and make sure that they're mentally where they need to be, and make sure that they know like this isn't a normal year and things. I hope will get better from what they are right now.
Houston runs generally 3 centers, and they all use all 5 fouls expertly, I guess you could say. Does it feel like it's just nonstop, that they just have guy after guy after guy to come in and kind of beat on you?
Yeah, that's certainly what it felt like last year too. They just kind of had a cycle of bigs where they had a good rotation of keeping their guys fresh, and they were just guy after guy just pounding the boards. But I feel like we've got a pretty good rotation too with me, Du, and Tari, who can all play inside and match their intensity.